All right, so here we have the Kooks long tube headers, 1 7/8 along with the Kooks off-road Y pipe. I'll go ahead and give you guys the part number here. Part number for the Kooks long tube headers is 286-02-402. That is the 1 7/8. And then we have the off-road Y pipe, 3-inch. This is 286-13-100. I don't know if this Y pipe will work for the 5.3s because I believe, well actually yeah, it should work for the 5.3s. I know the catback after that, the diameter on the catback, factory catback, is a little bit smaller compared to the 6.2s. So yeah, these are the part numbers for the Kooks system. I'm gonna go ahead and do an unboxing real quick so we can take a look at it, and then we'll proceed forward on getting them installed. All right, so here you have it. These are the Kooks long tube headers, 1 7/8. I thought about getting them coated, but I think I'll just leave them like that. I mean, the engine bay, the engine compartment, there's a lot of room, so there will be some air flowing through the compartment. It's not like the Corvette where everything was so tight and the heat would stay there. So with the truck being as high as it is, you know, there'll be a lot of air moving through the engine bay, so they're not going to get coated. This is the off-road Y pipe that will connect into my Texas Speed catback. So it did come with the Cosmic exhaust manifold gaskets, but I don't know if I trust these too much. I will be using the OEMs that I bought brand new. Of course, stickers. Everybody loves stickers. I know I do. Here are the bolts they supply to connect the Y pipe to the headers, and then you got new header bolts as well. I don't know if I'll be using these. They do have a lock. I might just use the factory ones. We'll see. I'll find out here in a bit which route I'm gonna go, but yeah, there they are. Pretty good quality. I've always bought Kooks on my 2017 GMC Sierra 6.2 that I had previous to this one. I bought the Kooks for my 2018 Camaro 1LE, SS 1LE. Bought Kooks for my C6 Z06, and here I am buying Kooks once again for my 2018 GMC Sierra 6.2. So always been a fan of Kooks, never had any issues as far as when the install happens. Everything fits just fine. Fitment is great. So I would recommend them. They're one of the top companies that make headers, other than American Racing Headers. I know there's a Speed Engineering brand that's, you know, very budget friendly, but I don't know. I've always been a fan of Kooks, and I will always continue to buy Kooks. So Kooks, if you're seeing this video, big thumbs up to you guys for making a great product. But anyways, let's go ahead and start installing these bad boys. All right, so I went ahead and hit the exhaust manifolds with some WD-40 again. In the meantime that I jacked it up, I put it on some jack stands. I got 2 there and 2 in the front. I obviously removed the front 2 tires. I guess the next thing what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unbolt. Let me see if I can get underneath here. I'm gonna unbolt those 2 bolts here that hold the trans mount, which would allow me to bring the jack in through here, and I'll support the transmission with the jack. And then I'll remove this brace. These are 13/16 bolts there. There's 2 on each side, 1 2 3 4. I'll go ahead and remove this trans brace, and then we'll go ahead and move forward to disconnecting the Y pipe from the exhaust manifolds. Removing the trans brace will allow me to bring down the Y pipe without having to cut it. Cutting it will probably be easier, I guess, but it's whatever. So yeah, I guess let me go ahead and remove these 2 bolts, support the transmission, and then we'll pick up from there on the video. It's kind of hard to do this while recording and trying not to miss any steps and stuff, so bear with me. The video might be everywhere, but point is you guys will see pretty much the basics of installing some long tube headers. So yeah, let me go ahead and remove these 2 bolts, support the trans, and then we'll go from there. All right guys, so took the trans brace off. Just for you guys that have 4-wheel drives, One thing to consider is if you try to put the jack underneath the transmission pan with the transfer case weight, it'll kind of like buckle the oil pan a little bit. So thankfully I caught that. It started bending the oil pan. It didn't bend it or dent it, but it was giving in. So what I did is, instead of supporting from the pan there, what I did is I supported it from the transfer case, because that's a lot more solid than that thin aluminum on the oil pan. You can see it bending in when the jack was pushing up on it. So I decided to sorry, I'm out of breath, but anyways, I decided to support it from the transfer case, you guys can see, instead of doing it from the oil pan. So that's one thing to consider, guys. If you guys have a four-wheel drive, support it from the transfer case. If not, you'll bend your oil pan. I also did, excuse me, I also did remove the inner fender liner. That way you can have access to your header bolts. As you guys can see, they look pretty corroded. I did hit it with some more WD-40, some liquid wrench. I'm gonna let that soak in a little bit. I also did hit the bolts to disconnect the Y pipe from the exhaust manifolds on both sides as well. So you guys can see, with this inner fender liner gone, it gives you so much room. I mean, literally take out the bolts from here, it would be super easy. So, you know, this truck has 40,000 miles on it already. So, you know, hopefully the bolts do come off with these, especially after spraying it with some WD-40 and liquid wrench. I've also been hitting the O2 sensors with WD-40 and liquid wrench. So I'll let that soak up a little bit, and then I'm gonna attack the Y pipe. I gotta disconnect one of these first. I gotta disconnect the clamp that holds the Y pipe to my Texas Speed catback. So I'll disconnect this so it can be free from the catback, and then I'll work my way up to the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna give it a couple minutes before I attack those bolts. But yeah, I mean, the job is straightforward. Just take your time, be patient. And that's one thing I don't have, is patience, but I'm able to, you know, take my time, put some good music on, and you know, enjoy the process. So we should be done here pretty soon. All right, guys, so after battling this Y pipe for a good amount of time, even though I soaked the bolts in WD-40 and liquid wrench for like 2 days, I soaked it. They were still hard to get off. So once you break them free, they'll come out like a hot knife through butter, man. They come off real easy. But you know, some of these are at an angle that you can't really get to so easy. But I did have to use my daughter. She helped me out. Thanks, big shout out to her. But yeah, I left the O2 sensors on them. You definitely want to disconnect the harnesses before you drop the Y pipe, so you don't stretch the wires or snap a wire. Obviously this is bank 1, that's bank 2. I'll take them out. I'm gonna soak these things in longer, these O2 sensors, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna be hard to get off. So I'll soak those in longer, and then you know, as the headers go on, obviously these will go on the southernmost part of the header. And then these, I'm not sure if the Y pipe has a bung for them. Each header has a bung there. This one has a bung there, and then this one has a bung there and a bung there. So pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4. They're gonna go in the same order that these guys are in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, Y pipe is completely off. Now all that we got to do is remove the exhaust manifolds. I'm gonna hit those bolts with some more WD-40, because you know, this truck's been to the beach a lot ever since I got it, and you can tell that they're pretty rusted. So that's pretty much the last hard part, is removing the header with the stock manifolds. And then we'll get to changing the spark plugs and all that stuff too, putting on the new wires. But yeah, I guess I'll hit it with some WD-40, let it soak in for maybe 20-30 minutes, and I'll come right back at it. Well, I was able to get off one exhaust manifold before the rain came down. Texas weather, man, it was bright and sunny a little while ago, and now it's pouring down rain. So I took off the passenger side. All I need is the driver's side manifold, but I'm gonna wait until this water calms down. Once it calms down, I'll go ahead and get right back to it. For right now, I do have the 4 oxygen sensors. I just hit it with liquid wrench. I'm gonna let that sit there for quite a while because I don't think this this rain's gonna calm down, but gotta love Texas in this weather. So anyways, once the water calms down, I'll get right back to it and I'll check in with you guys after that. All right, guys, today is the next day. Unfortunately, the rain did not let off. It rained all afternoon. We even had some flooding here in our city. So, but anyways, this is the following day, and I already removed the second exhaust manifold on the driver's side. So we're pretty much ready to get both headers installed already. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the surfaces there, make sure there's no debris on the head, so that way we have a proper seal with the gasket and whatnot. So I'll clean up both ends. I'm also gonna change out the spark plugs. I probably don't need to. The truck's only got 40,000 miles, but since I'm gonna be tuning it, you know, I want to make sure that the truck is at its prime. So it already got a fresh oil change before I started all this work. So I'll change out the spark plugs and we'll replace the spark plug wires. But yeah, for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and install the Kooks headers. I already took off the O2 sensors and put them on the new headers already. As you can see, they're already put on. So these bad boys are ready to get on. So I guess I'll check in with you guys once I already got at least one side done, and then we'll go from there. All right, so these are the spark plugs I pulled off. I don't know if it'll focus, but I guess they don't look too bad. Anyways, those are all 8. I did buy the factory plugs. I don't think there's any need to upgrade from the factory for just simple bolt-ons and E85. I don't think so. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, let me know in the comments below, and I'll swap out the factory plugs for whatever you guys recommend. Also got some Kooks heat shield for the spark plug wires, which are these, the MSD. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit about MSD, but you know, I've never had issues with them. There's a part number if you need it. I've run these on, you know, my first pickup, my Camaro SS1LE, Z06, and now I'm gonna run them on my 18 pickup. Never had an issue, so I know a lot of people hate them. They talk shit about them a lot, but I've never had any issues. So anyways, this is what I'm gonna be doing. Of course, I got those connected grease and whatnot. So I'm gonna make sure those spark plugs are gapped correctly, and then I'm gonna go ahead and install them along with all this, and then we'll get to installing the headers after. So I'll check in with you guys once I'm done with that. Okay, so both headers are installed, driver's side and passenger side. Spark plugs are installed as well. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on getting the white pipe connected to the catback that I have. piece of advice for the driver's side: the steering shaft obviously has to come out. So disconnect it from the bottom where it connects to the gearbox. It's an 11 millimeter. Pull that out on both these two here, and it should slide out perfectly, and that'll give you enough room just to slide in the header from on top. The passenger side was pretty easy, a lot easier than the driver's side. Couple split knuckles, but other than that, everything else went good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the white pipe, and then I'll catch up with you guys. Alrighty, so got both headers in, got the MSD wires on with the heat sleeves on both sides. You come around this side, same thing over here. And of course, I got the white pipe already attached to my Texas Speed catback. Give me a second, let me get down here. Oh God. I still gotta put the trans brace, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on, let it go through a heat cycle. After that, I'm gonna retorque the header bolts and pretty much all the bolts down here. Like I said, man, Kooks is great quality. Fitment is perfect. So I guess it's time for a cold start. Just keep in mind, I did not put on my cutout. As you can see, it's open. So this is gonna be louder than it would be with the cutout closed, which will go through the muffler. So go ahead, Caroline. Turn the key forward. Turn the key forward and let it prime. Well, get in there. Just turn the key forward once. Right there. Hopefully this thing doesn't blow up. I don't have my filter on, but whatever. Go ahead and crank it over now. You will see some smoke, but that's just from the headers and whatnot, and the WD-40 I might have sprayed on them and whatnot. But all right, guys, I'm gonna let it do a heat cycle, and then I'm gonna retorque everything, button up the trans brace, put the fender liner back in, wheels and tires, and we'll be done. Got her all buttoned up now. Wheels and tires are back on. The fender liner's back on. I also did put the air filter, which I cleaned. I did spray the whole motor with some degreaser because there was a lot of like WD-40 sprayed everywhere and whatnot. So I went ahead and gave her a quick little engine bay wash. But yeah, she's all said and done. Right now we'll go ahead and start her up. I did put the cutout back on, so now we can hear the way she sounds with the system going through the muffler, the exhaust going through the muffler. So there you have it. Kooks, I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down, and we'll give you not necessarily a cold start because I did turn it on to check for any leaks again. So she's a little warm right now, but yeah, I'll go ahead and start her up for you guys. 59.
That's the 9% heat inside. So probably just need to make one more change on the turnaround here.
Okay.
Look at